She walks the line on a narrow street, Santiago's heat on her restless feet. Words like fire burn the air they meet. Truth speaker, she don't bow or retreat. Maria, Maria.
Trump's legal shitshow. Still guilty as charged, November 22, 2025. All right, listen up. You fabulous rebels tuning in on this crisp fall morning of November 22, 2025, because I'm about to unload on the biggest clown in the circus we call American politics. And trust me, if you're here for the truth bombs, you're in the right goddamn spot. I'm talking about Donald J. Trump, that orange-tinted disaster who somehow keeps dodging the full weight of his own bullshit like it's a game of legal hopscotch. But let's get real for a second today. We're ripping the Band-Aid off his so-called witch hunt facade and laying out exactly what the courts have slapped him with, because while his cult chants fake news from their red hats, the records don't lie, and neither do I. Picture this: a guy who spent years grifting, lying, and scheming his way through boardrooms and ballots, now facing a pile of charges that could bury a lesser con man 6 feet under. But nah, he's still out there golfing at Mar-a-Lago like it's all a bad dream. Except it's not. It's the cold, hard reality of a dude who got convicted on 34 felony counts in New York for falsifying business records to cover up his hush money payoff to that porn star Stormy Daniels. Remember her? Yeah, the one he banged while Melania was changing diapers or whatever. And instead of owning it like a man, he funneled cash through his fixer Michael Cohen, labeling it as legal expenses because apparently in Trump world, screwing around and screwing the system are the same damn thing. And oh, honey, that New York conviction. It wasn't some slap on the wrist dreamed up by Sleepy Joe or the deep state. A jury of actual New Yorkers, tough as nails and twice as skeptical, looked at the evidence, the checks, the invoices, the whole sordid trail, and said guilty, guilty, guilty on every single count, making him the first ex-president to get fingered for felonies in a courtroom, not just on Twitter rants. Sentencing came down to an unconditional discharge, no jail time, no fines, just a big fat "you're a crook" stamped on his forehead. And yeah, he's appealing like a whiny kid who lost his toy, but let's call it what it is. A win for accountability, even if it's baby steps in a marathon of his malfeasance. Why does this even matter, you ask, while sipping your coffee and wondering if the world's gone mad? Because it proves the system's not totally rigged against the little guy. It can nail the big fish when the facts line up. And in this case, they screamed election interference wrapped in a bow of business fraud, all to keep his 2016 skeletons buried deep enough to win that God-forsaken race. Ha! As if paying off mistresses was ever gonna stay secret in the age of leaks and receipts. What a moron, thinking he could outsmart a paper trail with his tiny hands. But wait, there's more, because Trump's not done digging his own grave. He's got federal indictments hanging over him like a storm cloud that won't piss off. Starting with that Mar-a-Lago classified documents fiasco, where the FBI raided his beach shack and hauled out boxes of top-secret crap he was hoarding like a kleptomaniac at a state fair. We're talking nukes, war plans, intel that could get agents killed. And instead of handing it back like a normal human, he obstructed, lied, hid shit in bathrooms and closets, even had his valet waving a Sharpie like it was a magic wand to make the mess disappear. Special counsel Jack Smith laid it all out in indictments thicker than his spray tan, charging him with retention of classified docs, obstruction, the works. And as of right now in 2025, it's still churning through courts with appeals and immunity bullshit flying left and right. But charged means charged, folks, not innocent until proven, but we've got the goods, Your Honor, and it's a federal hammer waiting to drop if his delay tactics finally run dry. Laughable, isn't it? The guy who screams, "Lock her up," for emails now cries foul when his own felony folder overflows. Hypocrisy so thick you could spread it on toast and call it breakfast. Then there's the January 6 clusterfuck, that crown jewel of his coup fantasies, where federal charges paint him as the ringleader of a conspiracy to flip the 2020 election like a bad reality show script gone nuclear. False statements to swing states, pressuring Pence to play pretend with electors, sixing a mob on the Capitol while he sipped Diet Cokes and watched on TV. The special counsel's filings read like a thriller novel, but it's all documented. All alleged in black and white as conspiracy to defraud the United States, obstruction of Congress, straight-up threats to democracy that make Watergate look like a parking ticket. Indicted, charged, and dragging through 2025 with trial dates bouncing like a bad check. But don't kid yourself. This isn't some partisan hit job. It's the DOJ saying, you tried to torch the Constitution for a sequel season, and we're not letting you rewrite the ending. Yell it with me. What the actual fuck were you thinking, Donnie? Inciting an insurrection because your ego couldn't handle losing to a guy who beats you at golf. Pathetic doesn't even cover it. It's treason light with a side of sedition, and the courts are just warming up. Don't get me started on Georgia, where that Fulton County grand jury dropped a RICO bomb on him and his merry band of election deniers, charging felonies under state law for trying to steal the Peach State's votes like it was a heist movie with bad accents. Phone calls to Brad Raffensperger begging, no, demanding, fined 11,780 votes. Fake electors scheming in hotel rooms, pressure on officials to flip results. It's all there in the indictment, a racketeering conspiracy that would have made the mob blush, and it's pending in state court, chugging along despite his delays and judge shopping. RICO, baby. The same tool they used to gut the Gambinos, now aimed at a guy who thought state lines were suggestions. Bold move, but stupid as hell when the tape's rolling and the witnesses are flipping like pancakes. And let's not forget the Mueller era, where even though they didn't cuff Trump himself, thank God for that sitting president. Loophole, his inner circle crumbled like a stale cookie. Manafort, Flynn, Gates, Papadopoulos, Stone, all pleading guilty or getting convicted for lying, financial fuckery, obstruction, the whole rotten core exposed. Associates rotting in cells while he golfs free. That's the Trump tax on loyalty, pay up in perjury or prison time. It matters because it shows the rot started early, in 2016, with Russian whispers and campaign crimes that set the stage for this endless parade of prosecutions. Now, fast forward to the boats he's blowing up today, because this felon-in-chief isn't content with his legal laundry list. He's out there torching bridges to Democrats like it's therapy, spewing hate at the LGBTQ community as if pride parades threatened his fragile manhood. Shitting on elders and the poor with cuts to Social Security and Medicaid that'd make Scrooge blush, turning his back on the disabled while preaching America first that somehow always means me first. And the kicker. Siding with terrorists, inviting those Hamas sympathizers or whatever flavor of extremist floats his boat to the White House like it's open mic night for radicals, all while stomping the Constitution under his golf shoes. Free speech for me, but not for thee, right? Fuck that noise. It's not leadership. It's a tantrum from a has-been who's one indictment away from history's biggest loser, and I'm here cackling because karma's got a receipt, and it's addressed to Mar-a-Lago. Few rant over, or is it? Because every time I think we've hit bottom, he digs deeper, but you know what? We're smarter than that. We're the ones who see through the smoke and mirrors, calling bullshit on the con while he builds walls around his lies. Here's why the orange testicle in roller skates had impeachment hanging over him like a busted ceiling fan that never stops wobbling. 1. He tried to strong-arm a foreign country for personal political gain. This wasn't some oopsie on a phone call. He literally asked Ukraine's president to dig up dirt on a political opponent while dangling military aid like a cheap bribe. Every halfway functional democracy recoils at that. The United States. Yeah, half the room shrugged. 2. He obstructed Congress like it was a competitive sport, subpoenas, ignored, testimony, blocked, documents, buried like a dog hiding its favorite bone. Impeachment exists exactly for this kind of behavior, but Congress had to treat it like a group project where one kid refuses to do their part. 3. He interfered with investigations into his own behavior. Multiple officials said he tried to control, steer, or derail investigations into himself and his buddies. Imagine being so allergic to accountability that you treat oversight like a personal insult. 4. He treated public office like a family business, conflicts of interest everywhere. Foreign governments booking hotel rooms, political events held at his properties, and his administration acting like the Constitution's emoluments clause was optional fine print. It's not. 5. He incited a mob to attack his own government. This one should have been the mic drop. The man whipped up anger for months, then cooked it to a boil on January 6th and walked away like he didn't just light the match. The fact that anyone still had to think twice about impeachment after that says more about the system than about him. 6. He spread lies that undermined the election process itself. You can disagree with policies all day, but once a leader starts convincing people that the entire election system is fake unless he wins, you're not in politics anymore. You're in dangerously delusional cult leader territory. 7. He encouraged officials to find votes like it was a scavenger hunt. Pressuring state officials to fix election results should be automatic grounds for impeachment, disqualification, and maybe a remedial civics class. 8. He abused presidential power as if it belonged to him personally. National security decisions, foreign policy, domestic policy, appointments, pardons, all treated like chess pieces to reward loyalists and punish critics. Public service, nowhere in sight. So why should he be impeached? Because impeachment is literally designed for people who treat power like a toy, treat the law like a suggestion, treat democracy like an inconvenience, and treat the country like it owes them something. That's the whole point of the mechanism. And yet, somehow, here we are. Humans never cease to amaze me with their ability to watch a slow-motion disaster and still argue about whether gravity exists. Oh, and dearest MAGA, I was not talking to you. I just want to thank you all, like, share, and follow to stay connected. I am Santiago del Carmen Maria, the Queen of Crowning Thoughts, because I say it like it is. Copyright 2025 Independent Writer, Crowning Thoughts Truth Speaker. AI video content creator, writer, blogger, Santiago DC. Maria. All rights reserved.